Hey guys, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. It's beer 30. Let's go take a walk, see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for talking about Gregsbeerreviews today. I don't know what to expect from this. This is Karbach Brewing Quintuple IPA, and this was sent to me by Brandon C. down in Texas. And he's got written on, I didn't see anything on the bottle, but he's got it written as September 2016. So we're in January of 2017, so this may have sat just a little longer than it should have. And I've had it for a while, so it is my fault. I should have done it a little earlier, but being a quintuple, that's 11.91. It doesn't have it on the bottle. So Beer Advocate has it 11.91. Rate Beer has it at 13. And Untapped has it at 13. And they have it at 85 IBUs. So we're just going to say the 2 out of the 3 have the same thing. And like I said, I didn't see it on the bottle anywhere. Very colorful label. And this is their 5th anniversary edition. And for you guys that don't know, Karbach just sold out to the one of the big 3. I don't know if it was AB InBev that bought them or who was. I think it was AB InBev that bought them out. So I consider those guys that sell out like it. Of course, money talks and bullshit walks, as they say. It's hard to refuse mega dollars when they're thrown up in your face. But I consider these guys that sell out to the big 3 traders. So Brandon, I'm sorry to say that, but and they probably hadn't sold out when he bought this and sent it to me, but now that they have, even if it was available here, I would probably not buy it before I even get the cap off of it. Those guys, and there's one up the road here, Devil's Backbone, that just sold out. I don't buy their beers anymore either. I don't support those guys. And they're trying to buy up as many as they can get their freaking hands on, and even still making commercials making fun of craft beer. I don't understand that. I don't see how they can buy up all these breweries and make commercials saying craft beers for sissies and wussies and all that kind of crap, and they're touting their Budweiser brand, which is horse piss, as far as I'm concerned. So let's see what this brings to the table. Like I said, if it's a malt bomb, it's probably my fault because I've had this for a couple of months and hadn't got to it yet. So, and being a bigger IPA, they're calling it a quintuple, which is actually not a recognized style as far as that amount. They make a regular IPA and a double or imperial IPA, and as far as it goes, they don't have a triple or a quadruple or anything like that. So let's reserve judgment, and I'm going to just tell you like it is, guys. If it's an awesome beer, I'm going to tell you it's an awesome beer. If it's not, I'm going to tell you that it's not. But if it's not, then it's because it's turned into a malt bomb because I've had it in the fridge so long. It's partially my fault. So, Brandon, I apologize beforehand before we even get the cap off if it is. So, I'm trying to get to these beers as quick as I can. And the bigger ABV beers usually take the back row to some of the lower ABV beers, especially the IPAs and the double IPAs and the lower ABV stuff. So let's see what we got here. I'm reviewing this on the 3rd of January 2017. So September, October, November, December, probably almost 4 months old. So hopefully they did it at the end of September, end of October, end of November, end of December. So it's right at 3 months old, depending on what part of the month they did it in September. So commercial description on this says 5th anniversary. So I already know that. It's written on the bottom. Alright, so while I get the cap off of this, and I have read that this is a very carbonated beer, so hopefully it won't spew out all over the place. Big hiss. So it tells me it's very, very carbonated, guys. So we're going to pour it very easily. Cuisine's barbecue, cheese and pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp, blue cheddar, your stronger cheeses, gorgonzola and Limburger. And the meat is game, grilled meat, and salmon. It doesn't seem to be pouring too big of a head. Now this thing's trying to cut off on me, and it did. Glassware snifter, tulip, oversized wine glass. I'm using my favorite snifter today, guys. I'm going to go down the center here. It don't look like it's too awful carbonated. No. So some of these guys probably poured it into a chill glass, which makes that head go crazy. But it didn't pour a big head at all. So, didn't have that problem. I was expecting with that hiss when I took the cap off to be kind of overcarbonated. Says there can be solid for long periods of time. You shouldn't do that on a double IPA, but this is 13%, which is a monster beer. About a quarter finger of head, very clear, and with the first part of the bottle that's poured in there. Now the second half may have a lot of more stuff in it from the settling and be a lot more cloudier than this, but we're going to pour it in her glass, and if it looks like that, I will tell you when I come back. Let's get a nose on this. Definitely not a West Coast style at this point. A little bit of herbal floral hops. And a little bit of maltiness there. So definitely not a West Coast style or even a New England style, of course. It does have a little bit of sweetness to the back end. But it doesn't smell like a malt bomb, so let's give it a taste and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Brandon. A little heavy on the maltiness, but it's definitely not a malt bomb. It's definitely got a little bit of a citrusy, floral, herbal hops in it. More like a English style, but the English don't do a 13% IPA, double or imperial IPA. Not that I know of. They may, but not that I've had before. Just a slight hint of some alcohol in the back end, but 13% probably. As of right now, it tastes decent. You just got to realize it's a little over 3 months old. So it's at the end of its shelf life as far as getting a strong, pronounced hop presence if it had it then. I'm not sure what they were going after here. Or they were trying to produce something with a big, strong hop presence. I don't think they were. So, because it doesn't say anything about any special dry hopping or any of that kind of stuff. And from what I've read, I'm not seeing anybody saying it had that. So, a strong quintuple is what they're calling it, IPA. But for 13%, it doesn't taste that boozy. It really doesn't. So, well done beer, probably. So let me sip on it, let it come up to room temperature, and pour her a glass and see what we end up with on this one. Alright guys, I'm back. Got a little left here. Decent beer. It is a decent beer. The alcohol is fairly well hidden. If it is at 13%, and that's where I'm going to start off fussing. They got all this colorful graphics and stuff on there, but not a lot of information about what's in the bottle. No ABV, no IBUs, and I looked at the bottle closely and I don't see any kind of dating on there, and Brandon must have went to their website to realize, or to tell me, that it was a September 2016 edition of this. That kind of information needs to be on the bottle, guys, and you shouldn't have to go to the website to find that out. So we're gonna fuss a little bit about that. They need to have that information on there, or have something as a dating machine. Print that on there if they want to reuse these labels over and over. But being a 5th anniversary beer, they're only going to do this beer one freaking time, and they already have that information on the damn label. So that's probably going to cost them a grade point. I'm not a big fan, even though it's got a nice, real colorful label that makes you want to pick it up off the shelf. But if this was sitting on the shelf at my beer store, I would probably leave it sitting there, unless I knew for sure, oh, they just got this beer in today or this week. I wouldn't pick it up not knowing how old the beer is. So, just my OCD, just my 2 cents. Final chug. And then on top of that, they've sold out. They are traders in the craft beer community as far as I'm concerned. Of course, money talks. When somebody like AB, InBev, or whatever comes in and throws all these big dollar amounts in there to buy your brewery, or a portion of it, or a majority portion of it, a lot of times things change. And a lot of times the brewers and people that are associated with this beer leave because of it, because they lose control over what's happening with their beers. But and on the other hand, when somebody like that buys them out, they get bigger distribution, and a lot of times dating will show up on it, because those guys are pretty sticklers about having dates on their beers. Budweiser, Miller, Coors, all those guys have dates on their beers. So maybe that will help them as far as dating their beers, but they may lose control over what or how the beer is brewed. So we'll see. Like I said, knowing that they've been bought out, I probably would not buy this beer if it was sitting on the shelf of my beer store, because I don't support those guys. But this isn't a very tasty beer. I think it's a nice balanced beer. It's not a malt bomb at this stage. A little bit of citrusiness in there. Floral, herbal hops, like I said earlier, more of a European style hop to me. But being done in September and I'm doing it in January, some of that may have faded over time. So with that being said, we're giving it the benefit of the doubt, but I do think it's a well-made beer. It was a well-made beer. The hops are not overpowering anything. The malt is not overpowering anything. It's a nice balance between the two. So to me, guys, I'm going to give this a B. 85, right down the middle of the B range. If it had some more information on the bottle and a date and stuff, I may step up to the B+, or maybe even the A- if it had date, IBUs, and all that. And I don't understand why they didn't do that, but since it's a 5th anniversary beer, they're only going to do it one time. So, just me. It's just me. It's just the way I feel. All right, especially in an IPA or an Imperial IPA. Whether it's a triple or a quadruple or a quintuplet or sextuplet or whatever you're trying to produce your beer as. It's an IPA, and the hops will fade over time. No matter whether it's 6% or if it's 13%, those hops will fade over time. But being a 13%, this beer is going to keep for a long, long, long time. It's going to get more malty over time, but it's not going to go bad. This beer will keep 5, 10, 15, even 20 years at 13%. But in 20 years, this is going to be such a malty mess. I definitely wouldn't want to try this if it had been cellaring for 20 years. And if I did, I feel pretty comfortable to say it's going to be a big malty bomb. So, was surprised with the pop when I took the cap off that it wasn't super carbonated, because I had read that it poured a massive head a lot of times, and I didn't experience that. So, even though I thought it was going to be super overcarbonated, it didn't turn out to be. So, over to Beer Advocate, they say no score. Not enough people have rated this, and I found that unusual. Karbach's a fairly big brewery in Texas, so surprised that not enough people have rated this beer. And over to Beer Advocate, they have the same thing, no score. So for something that was produced and bottled in September of 2016, and here we're 4 months, 3 to 4 months later, and still not enough people have commented on this or reviewed this beer not to have any ratings, is surprising to me. So for our final check-in, we're run over to Untapped. They have it at 4.06, which is in their A category. So I may be a little conservative on that number, since I've had it a little longer than I probably should have. And once again, I want to apologize to Brandon for keeping this beer a little longer than I should have, because he sent it to me several months ago, and I probably should have done it then. Might have been a little bit better grade if I had, and it might have been a little more hoppier at that time. So, with that being said, if you had this one from Karbach, their 5th anniversary Quintuple IPA, let me know what you think. I do think it's a well-made beer, guys. I'm just saddened that they sold out to the big boys. So, if you've had it, let me know what you think, and come on back tomorrow. Let's dig something out of the fridge. See you then.